slower because, you know,
I think you and I are the only ones that have pizza.
I think so. The time is 12 p.m. and it's January the 16th, and I would like to call to order the City White House Economic Development Corporation meeting. Susan, would you please call the roll?
Yes, sir. Bob Breedlove, Charles Parker,
Here.
Ernie LaFleur,
Here.
John Chambers,
Here.
Maria Davenport, Tom Trimble, and Jerry Akins.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Great. Item B is presentations. I don't think we have any. Item C is a public forum. I don't see anyone in the audience and no one has signed in. Item D is agenda items. Number 1 is discussion of retail recruitment and the retail coach.
Do you want me to start? Or, okay. Well, we have had a couple of meetings with Retail Coach since our last meeting, and despite the typical holiday slowdown, White House remained active with their retail recruitment. Retail Coach will be attending the ICSC Red River networking event at the end of this month, and they will continue to promote us. They'll get some face-to-face time with people that they have been emailing or making phone calls with. They are working on some very promising leads. One of them, can't say too much, but it's a quick service restaurant that's looking for 2 to 5 acres. We have a communications retailer as well, and then also a smaller home improvement store, retailer. Retail Coach, they remain optimistic that in just the few short months since we began this effort, that we've generated as much interest as we have. So they're very optimistic for us still. And these efforts demonstrate the Retail Coach's commitment to attracting diverse businesses for us and helping us reach our full potential.
We did also have a really promising meeting with a hotel developer, so that's good news.
What kind of developer? I'm sorry.
Hotel,
Hotel. Okay.
not a
Yeah,
hotel
that-
developer, a hotel that is looking to partner with the developer. Let me rephrase.
Boy, that would be a big help
That would
for
be-
this. This town definitely needs a hotel.
Yeah, he didn't give us any negative feedback. I think it's more about site selection and partnering with the right people. But he didn't give me any sense of hesitancy on the potential.
So in other words, they have sites in mind.
We did set them up with a property owner. We'll see where that goes.
Are they, I know you may not be able to say much or maybe too soft at this point, but are they thinking more in the city proper or are they thinking out towards Lake Tyler or something?
Nope, in the city, along 110.
Okay, that's good.
There's never been a doubt in my mind that that there is enough of a population here, given the number of kids with young families whose parents or whomever else would travel in from out of town to visit with those kids and grandkids or whatever, that, you know, I've always believed that we would be a prime location for I've thought that since I got here. Really never understood why we couldn't get to that point, but you know, of course, you know, COVID messed everything up with some of that. But you know, they're putting in a new hotel off of the Loop. Almost, it's by the One America building, and then on the other side of it is the street that runs in front of. It's not Lee anymore. It's Legacy. You know, and it's kind of stuck back in there. I mean, so you don't really. I mean, I just thought it was an interesting choice location, and I think it's about 4 stories. So anyway, if they'll put one there, they can put one out here.
where everybody can see it.
Yeah, I don't even know what it's gonna be yet. It looks like maybe a Holiday Inn Select or something.
That'd be terrific.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
But,
I would've lost money, I would've bet a Springwood, but
okay, well, could be still.
we'll find out in a few
They tend to
months.
change over time, I've noticed.
But I agree with you, the number of rooftops that have been added, it just makes terrific sense to have a facility like that here, so. That's great.
Well, I think the day I met with him, I was like, yeah, my parents are coming into town tonight to watch my kids do something, whatever's going on. And we'll be having to drive back at, 10 or 10:30 when it's over, because there's nowhere to stay.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
no, and if we wanna have an event center and things like that we're talking about, that's further gonna drive the need for, you know.
Apparently, there's a bigger
Lodging.
demand for boats in town than I have.
No kidding.
As well, but that's,
But we did talk about the school district, how many events they have, making sure that whatever hotel goes in is in that market that schools can afford to stay at, right? And because there is a window there that makes that appealing to school districts. I'm making up words. So
It was a good
so
one
much
though.
economic development, I'm making up words today.
We're nothing if not innovative.
But again, as Susan and I met with the retail coach again this morning, and it's economic development is a long game, and it's all about building those relationships. So, didn't hear anything today that was cause for concern. I didn't hear anything when I met with the hotel developer. He was really excited about the potential, and felt like there might even be other hotel options that would follow behind them, which seems to be the case, right? Like you see these
Yeah,
hotels
yeah.
kind of wanting to
It
be
is
close
interesting how
together.
that happens, they tend to cluster.
Yeah.
Well, it is pretty amazing that with the amount of growth that's happened, that there isn't one here. I mean, I would imagine that's almost unusual for them to run into that.
Things they were interested in was proximity to train was a driver for that. What big state or federal construction projects are slated in the area over the next several years.
Did any of the new data that we've gathered with the groups that are assisting us, did any of that help in your conversation?
Absolutely, it helped us show the average, the higher than average household income for our trade area. To make sure, hey, look, we've got people here and they've got higher than average household incomes, so they can stay at a hotel. He wanted to know about sporting events, some of those kinds of things, so.
That's great.
And then we'll talk about another one in executive session, that data is really helpful.
Awesome.
were they asking for anything from the EDC?
No, I think at the one site that the one property that they've actually gone out and looked at and talked to the owner on, the request was maybe putting in the drive or road from the highway into the hotel. And I said, look, that's an easy yes, especially if it has more than one site going behind it. So, yeah, I said that's what we need to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Then let's have that conversation. That's definitely something we would be willing to help with, so.
I can work a shovel.
And in my mind, especially any infrastructure projects that we need to do to make sites more developable are much more appealing than us just putting money into the business itself, so.
I agree.
Yeah, that's,
More appropriate.
yeah, I think it's a lot more appropriate.
That infrastructure stays.
I mean, it's one thing if we're gonna do, a small business grant or some kind of loan or something, that would require a lot of vetting, I think, as opposed to, hey, we need to be able to hook up to sewer, or we need a street, or, that's a lot more palatable for the highest and best use of our dollars. Because then once you literally lay the groundwork, then, whatever follows behind that is a lot, can become other things as well.
Yeah, if that enterprise fails, the
Right.
full investment hasn't failed.
Right. Right. And I think you stand a better chance of recouping your dollars off of that, although, there's an argument to be made the other direction, but if it's just like, this week they finally completed the water line from, Tyler to John Souls Foods.
Oh, yeah, okay.
A big article in the paper this week about that.
Yeah.
They should have done that 20 years ago, and had they ran water and sewer out there to them then John Souls probably doesn't go build a second plant in Georgia or South Carolina or wherever it is, and those, 1,500 jobs would be in Smith County instead of someplace else. So, that was where maybe the EDC, Tyler EDC, maybe undervalued that or miscalculated or something.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanna be careful of, is that we don't miss an opportunity because, somebody's subtle with their request and then we're not listening good enough. So, anyway, that's my thoughts.
The other thing on the retail coach, they've been able to get in front of, I don't know, they've been talking to probably 20 to 30 retail or restaurants on our behalf. For Susan and I, just to get the right contact information for those 20 to 30 people would have taken weeks, months, I don't know how long. So just the time savings on our end, just to be, even those that have said no. They told us there's one today that they're wanting to be in the retail trade area of 75,000 plus, and I think we're right at 60 based on their data. Well, just that quick no, so that we're not spinning our wheels on that is really helpful. So.
Yeah, that contact stuff sounds easy, but then when you're trying to get it and people don't really wanna just blast it out to the universe, which the contacts you want don't, I agree with you, that can be a real hassle. So that's great. Good.
I think the opportunity is definitely there because, my kids play sports at a different district, and almost all those schools are stopping in White House for food. And that Whataburger crushes it with those late night games. People come back through and bus loads of kids at 10 o'clock. It's wild. So I imagine that space is probably pretty good.
And we're working closely with with Drake on that.
Oh,
And I
awesome.
know the retail coaches as well. I think in our meeting today, they were talking about setting up some time to make sure they meet with them at ICSC. They've been in contact with them probably every other week since
Yes.
it's been listed. So with several different options.
Is all the discussion around 110, or is anything pushing out?
We're not seeing a whole lot of interest out 346. We bring it up in every meeting that we have to try and help with that. I do think that my last conversation with Butch Hall was that he was gonna put in a gas station grocery store option himself. He was gonna build it, and I think he's hoping to finish up some of the residential this year and then start looking at the commercial stuff next year,
Oh,
2026.
that's cool.
It's kind of what his timing is looking like.
Good.
What became of that one restaurant that was asking for a grant, that outdoor seating?
We'll talk about that in executive session.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
Okay?
Great, glad to hear that's really paying dividends.
Anything else on the retail coach? If not, item 2, consider future agenda items. Unless there's anything obvious, I would prefer that we go into executive session and discover if there is anything that we need to put on future agenda items coming out of executive session. If that's okay with everyone?
Sounds good.
Okay. Having said that, moving on to item E, administrative reports, receive reports from staff.
And the financials were in your packet, hopefully.
No, they
No,
were
they were
not.
not.
I apologize, they were not in the packet, I'm just now seeing that. I will get you the financials. I apologize.
I just have one, how is the sales tax? Is it recovered a little
It's
bit?
been flat, we were down in October
Yeah.
from that refund. But November, December, and January have basically been flat. It's down $4,000 or 1% from same time last year.
Okay. All right. Anything else? If not, let's move on to item F, which is, we're gonna recess into executive session under chapter 551 of Texas Government Code. So it's 12:15 and I will close the regular meeting and move into recess.
so, yes, sir.
The time is now 12:49, and we have returned from executive session. And we'll reopen the regular meeting at this time. There is no action to take, I believe, as a result of the executive session. Correct. Okay, so we go back to item item D2, consider future agenda items. Is there anything that anyone wants to address on the future agenda items? I mean, we're moving forward the retail coach, obviously that would be, still ongoing monitoring with that. And any updates that, as we have potential suitors, obviously we would like to know about those or any opportunities that arise. That's all I've got. Anybody else?
Well, I'm wondering if there's anything we should be doing on this idea of some kind of entertainment complex. I mean, I don't know. Well, you already know what properties are possibly available. I don't know if that's something that needs some effort from us in some kind. I'm just brainstorming at the moment. I mean, should we be soliciting?
I tell you what, let's put on the agenda a brainstorming session for creation of a White House Event Center.
It's worth giving some thought.
Well, just, kick the tires and light the fires.
Then, one question I have is on the committees that we formed, on the subcommittees that we formed, is there anything that we should be doing toward interviewing existing businesses, toward like a retention survey type of a deal?
And that is something that I do plan to get started on again
Okay.
somewhat soon. But yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do. And I need to get everybody back together, all of those committees back together and start
Okay.
working again towards our goals with the strategic plan. It's just not been something I can handle at the moment.
One other thought is, doesn't have to be at our next meeting, but at a future meeting. Considering the road, the text dot revamping of 346, Rollins Quarter, and Biloxi, I think we need to strategically have a conversation about that and what effects that may have or opportunities that may create within the city.
I didn't know they were doing 346 at all. I thought it was just
Expanding it all the way to, they're gonna widen it all the way to.
I knew they were expanding Biloxi, but they're also gonna expand 346 too, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I didn't
That part
know.
I didn't know.
yeah, that's the reason they bought the domed houses and all that.
Yeah, I thought that's for the big interchange for, Biloxi to go over 346, but I didn't know at the same time they were widening. Okay, well, that's,
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
okay, that's good.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
Rollins
exciting.
Quarter, Biloxi, and,
It's exciting.
and,
Yeah.
346, all big things in next, they're gonna be breaking ground on some stuff here pretty soon.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, anyway, that's all I've got. Anybody else?
Well, they've been reaching out, that consultant's reaching out on the new park and the plans for the new park. And, you may know this can answer this question already, but is there any thought that there would be any piece of that park that would be set aside for the EDC for a suburban professional building or anything like that? Cause I mean, that could be any kind of site adjacent to that park and right here in White House would be really prime space for something like a professional building.
I think that's something to definitely bring up when you meet with.
Yeah, I'll
consultant.
bring that up with them, yeah.
So,
But I didn't know whether there was anything in how that deal was done that precludes any part of the property being used for anything other than a park.
I don't think, I'd have to go back and look and see what the motion was when they approved the purchase. But I don't know if they've officially declared it a park, so I don't
I
think
thought
that
we,
should
something
be-
we
I
could
thought we
change.
Did
did,
you?
but we didn't do the other
The other one,
property.
okay.
That-
So
Just from
maybe-
my recollection.
But there is another parcel back there that, the Berkshire's people own, not Berkshire's, Phoenix Commodities owns. There's another parcel between the two.
So that could be something the EDC purchases
Could be.
to be part, anyway, it's just something to think about.
Well, I think it would be a good thing
Access
for
is a
the,
critical part.
Phoenix properties to donate that. And put that in somebody's name and say, in honor of,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In honor of.
yeah. I felt the same way about certain property off Ackertap too, but that's. But I'm being recorded, so I can't say too much. All right, anybody else? Before I start getting off topic, the time is 12:56 and we are adjourned.
I was trying to see if I could find the timeline for widening of 346.